See the cat? Right there. That's my girl.
What's up, you guys? Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. Now, this video is going to be a little bit different from what I have been putting out recently because this is going to be a bit more off the dome. See, in 2023, we were... Just so you guys know, I have a cat who's being a little bit needy today. No fault of her own. She's a perfect princess girl. She just needs a little attention, so she might be interrupting here or there. Just take her as a side guest. In 2023, Pixar gave us an amazing animated film that, in my opinion, rocketed straight up to one of the best films that they've ever released. In fact, to me, this movie is actually in my top 10. Top 5 of all time. And I don't want to go too far into the plot of this film because I genuinely want everybody who hasn't seen this to have an experience of watching it on their own. I will give some contextual clues, but what we're going to be talking about today is what I think is one of the most amazing love stories told by Pixar, Elemental. See, in Elemental we're given this world where elements have consciousness and they're their own beings. So we have water people, fire people, cloud people, and land people. Land people? Sure, we'll call them land people. And our story begins before our main character is born. Her parents, Bernie and Ember, make it to Elemental City, a city where all elements coexist together. The only thing is, they're the first two to bring the fire elements into this city. We're opened up with scenes of them just trying to find a place to live, trying to find a place to start their business and start their life, eventually seeing them kind of kicked away from the city and pushed into a little suburb that they're able to build into the fire area. Over the next few minutes, we get to see a young Ember growing up with her father, learning how to run the shop, learning how to be appropriate with customers, and learning how to keep her anger in check as best she can. See, something that we learn early on about Ember is that she has problems controlling her anger, her outbursts, her actual fiery rage. This is a very common theme throughout the entire film, how she's presented with a situation where she tries to listen to what her father told her to just be calm, make connections, but it always ends the same, with her having these explosions. As Ember grows up, we constantly hear this thing: she will take over the father's shop once she's good and ready. Well, good and ready means that she's not going to blow up on the customers. So she finally gets her shop. It's a red dot sale, and her dad says, "You're going to run the shop tomorrow." Within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the shop being open, she's getting purple flame angry, and she just needs to run downstairs into the basement where she can let an explosion off. This causes pipes to break, a flood, and bring in our love interest, Wade. Now, not only is Wade a water person, he's also an inspector for the city, two things that the father did not want to have in his shop that day. So Ember tries to get him out as easily as possible, but Wade finds a lot of issues with that. The father had built this himself, no permits, oh god, bureaucracy! And so he begins writing citations to take down that will eventually get the shop closed. This is Ember's first moment of stepping up. She's never been to the big city, but she has to try to stop him from submitting these claims so that she can protect the shop. Enter the epic chase scene that you guys are going to love when you check it out. Now, moments after Wade is able to submit these tickets to the city, Ember gives him the real story of why she's trying to stop him. The emotional story, the heart story. Being a water person, they are explained to be very emotional, and this touches his heart, his pathos. So he makes a vow that he's going to help her. He's going to try his best to undo these tickets, or even just make sure that they don't go through. Enter the following sequences as Ember slowly starts to break down her walls a little bit and understand that there is not much different between her and Wade. Though they're different elements, they have a lot in common. They really enjoy being around each other. He makes her laugh. He makes her feel safe. She feels like she can experience the world with him, things that she never thought that she could do before. This is where we start to see that beautiful love story blossom. Two people of completely different backgrounds, who have always been told that these specific two can never get along, can never be together. Yet here they are, making memories and taking this task on together. Now, as time progresses and we see Wade and Ember slowly growing together and creating a relationship together, we also get the background information. How much the father despises water people, people who are putting out fire. This is a loud and common theme throughout the entire movie, and one that makes us understand why Ember has to hide Wade from her family the entire time. But this is also where we start getting a little bit of other information. That Ember's mother is somebody who has always wanted her to find love. In fact, her grandmother's dying wish was for her to find love, but for her to end up with a fire person. If you've seen the movie, you know what scene I'm referring to, and it's quite funny. So we start being welcomed into problems that Ember didn't even know that she was going to have. She thought her biggest issues were going to be controlling her anger so that she can take over the shop. But here she is falling in love with a water person, trying to figure out how she can integrate that into her life, and if she even can. This is when we start to see the biggest walls being taken down. We learn a story from Ember's childhood that really scarred her. It really set with her. All she ever wanted to do was see this Vivisteria tree. Vivisteria flower tree. That was pretty close. But we also learned that the exhibit had been flooded before she would ever be able to go in and see it. Now Wade takes this as an opportunity to pull a rabbit out of his hat and make it possible for her to go and see it. And I hit on this moment for one reason and one reason only, and Grace always teases me for it. There's this scene where Ember walks into the museum where this Vivisteria tree is, and she has these little itty bitty boots on, and I know that's the dumbest thing to focus on, but if you've seen the movie, she just has these little itty bitty boots. They're so cute. Anyway, this is where we get to see the true blossoming, both visually and emotionally, between Wade and Ember. Wade is getting Ember so far out of her comfort zone that she's willing to go into a floating air bubble under a flooded museum. And he shows her, metaphorically and realistically, everything that she's ever wanted to see. It's so beautiful. The sequence that follows next is, in my opinion, what makes this movie so powerful, and it's when fire and water attempt to touch. Something that nobody thought was possible. Everybody said that you would either extinguish the fire or evaporate the water. But when they touch, there's a beautiful moment of connection. They can feel each other. They can be around each other. How this is represented in the movie, every time I see it, it takes my breath away. And I know I'm an artsy-fartsy guy, and that's just how I am, but even Grace, every single time, it's powerful. It sticks with you. And so Ember gets something that she's never had with anybody who's not her family. An embrace. She gets to feel accepted and held by somebody else, and this is such a powerful and overwhelming feeling that it ends up scaring her. She decides that it's just too much, and she needs to return to her life with her father. She needs to go back to trying to run the shop and trying to keep her temper down. And I want to interject here because Wade has a quote that every time I watch this film, I have to sit in and really understand. It's something that even as a 25-year-old, when I heard this in this film, I was like, oh my God, this is a lesson I wish I knew sooner. Wade says, sometimes when I feel like I have a temper, I think that it's my body telling me something that I don't want to hear yet. That's powerful. See, and I'm going to birdwalk here a little bit. I find a lot of connection in this film because I see a lot of myself in Amber. I am very explosive, I have a temper, and I can often overreact to situations that I shouldn't. But I met a Grace who's a Wade. She's calm, she's cool, she goes with the flow. And sometimes when I'm up and up and up, I can grab her, I get to steam, I feel better. See, when I hear this moment, temper is just your body telling you something that you don't want to hear yet. It's so introspective. It's so far beyond, oh, this is what's pissing me off. No, it's not. You're choosing to react this way. Instead, let's internalize and respond a little bit better. And I was 24 when this came out and I first heard that, and it hit me so hard that I really wonder all the kids who are growing up like me who might have had that lesson a little bit earlier. So though Ember had this blow-up moment and she said, I don't want anything to do with you, Wade, anymore. I don't want you near me. Like, you can't be around me. This is not going to work. He fights for her. He even says, of course, there's this reason we can't be together. There's this reason we shouldn't be together. And there's this reason we won't be together. But there is one reason, and one alone, that we could be. It's that we touched. And he said this in front of a room of fire people where they're like, whoa, you were able to have contact with this water person? What are you talking about? It had blown their mind, something that nobody thought was possible. But this is also the defining moment. Will Amber go with Wade, this new life, or stay with her father, the old ways, running the shop and trying to keep her temper in control? One key thing to point out is that during this entire span of the movie, the more that she's with Wade, the calmer she is. She doesn't have these blow-ups. She doesn't have these overreactions. She learns how to take these anger and frustrations and turn them into something beautiful. Now, as every film has to have, chaos strikes, and when it does, it hits hard. It is an incredible flood that goes all the way through, destroying the fire town. And even though he had been pushed away, Wade shows up to help Ember, and they find themselves trapped, closed into a back room together. The only thing in there is her fire and his water. Now again, you guys know me, no spoilers, but this is where your heartstrings get absolutely pulled on. And I'm not going to say anything more than the callbacks are giving me chills right now. Thinking about this moment is giving me chills as I'm recording this. I haven't even seen the movie in the past couple days, and I'm actually getting a little bit emotional just thinking about it. That's how powerful these next following moments are. But one thing that I will hit on is obviously this is a Pixar movie, so the love story is what's most important. So Ember chooses to go on a life with Wade, exploring the world and seeing what else is out there. Now we get one of the most powerful scenes in the movie. As she's about to embark on this new journey with Wade, Ember sees her father and gives him an honorary bow. And her father, who had done the same thing to his parents when he left, was never met with the respect back. But he accepts her journey. He accepts what she's doing. He accepts her life. And he bows back. And we get to see Ember, with the respect and the acceptance of her father, and the love and the acceptance of Wade, embark on her very own journey, her very own life. I really hope you guys enjoyed this quick off the dome rant about Elemental. It is a film that changed my life when I saw it, and I'm not joking that I have seen it hundreds of times since it's come out. It is a comfort movie. It is one that I constantly am referring back to, and it's one that I recommend to everybody to watch. I know not everybody is as into animated movies as I am. Personally, I love Pixar. I've always had a deep appreciation for animated films, and this one, to me, shows the power of what we can create in 2023. And on all honesty, if you have not seen this movie, I highly, highly recommend it. And I'm sure you can hear it in my voice, but even just talking about this movie, it does something to me because it's so powerful. It's a message that I think everybody should hear. You know, we've seen so many versions of how love stories could be told, and this one, to me, is absolutely beautiful and one that people should see and should appreciate. So that's all that I have for you guys today, but thank you so much for spending some of your time with me. If you don't mind, if you liked this video, go ahead and give it a like. Talk with me down in the comments. I love hearing your guys' opinions. And honestly, if there's anything that you guys want me to hit on, film, TV show, or anything digital, let me know. I'll take a look and chat with you guys about it. Take it easy, all right?